MrTieDye, and today I'm here to do another tips and tricks video. This one, I've had several questions on it, so I decided to just make a quick little video, but it has to do with mandalas or stars and deciding how many points you want and then how to go about figuring out your markings, and I'll show you how I do that using just a protractor and a calculator. Once you get your initial design, then you can just use a calculator to get each one of the other measurements so that you can just go along quickly and mark your thing. And today, instead of trying to fold up a t-shirt, I'm going to use a piece of paper to do a even quicker demo on how I decide the number of points, or not decide, I decide myself, but how I then translate that onto the t-shirt or the tapestry that you're making. So stay tuned, we'll get set up here. Okay, I'm back. So the next thing is, how many points do you want on a mandala or a star or something? And the way that I'm going to do it, rather than trying to fold up a t-shirt, I think it'll be easier and quicker if I use a piece of paper. So basically, this here would be the center of my t-shirt. So I'm folding that in half, and then I'm marking here on the paper. I just mark the center spot. But on the t-shirt, you're going to mark the center of where you want your star or mandala to be. Once you get that down, then you're going to figure out how many points you want. So if you want 7 points on your star, then what you're going to do is take 180 divided by, and you're going to divide it by 7. The reason why I'm going with 180 is because that's how many degrees we have here. We got from 0 over to 180 here on the protractor. So that's what we're doing. We're just using math to figure this out. So we're going to divide that by 7, the number of points that we want, and that equals 25.714. So we're going to round that off to 25.7. So what we want to do now is draw a line on our mark here at every 25.7 degrees. So the easiest way to figure that out is if you put that in 25.7, do plus, and then what I'm going to do is go along here and just mark, and I know we're going to get into, you know, some 0.7s and stuff, and that's hard to do on this. You just want to kind of get in that pretty close area there. It's not going to be completely exact. So get your protractor all lined up here, and then 25.7. Let me take my cap off. 25.7. And I just make a little mark, and then from here you just keep hitting equals. Look, equals 51.4. That's my next mark. Equals 77.1. My marks. I'm going to lengthen them out here. So those are my lines. Let's see if I can stay in my area here. So what I'm going to do is fold each one of those creases there. So I'm going to first fold this one up, or basically I'm folding this first flap under, but right along that line there. And what that does is line that up on the bottom side. It's lined up right under this line. So the next line, I'm going to use this as my folding line, and I'm going to put this line right at the next. And like I said, it'd be the same thing with a t-shirt or a tapestry. You're going to do that same folding area. And then we're going to fold under again. Then what we're looking at, if we have folded our t-shirt up and done all of that folding, pleating, or whatever, we're looking at this same point here, just like that. And normally what we would do then is draw our lines on as to where we want our star to be and how steep we want the star to be. The more of an angle that you put on the pointier your points are going to be. If you do a more shallow one, then they're going to be kind of a more of a wedge shape there. Excuse me. Anyway, so for this, you would then pleat it and tie it off there, or use sinew and tie it really tight. But we can do something much quicker with paper here. We're just going to use scissors. So if I said that this was the line that I wanted to fold along right here, maybe we'll do a couple of these just to demo something. Then I can cut that line just like I was going to pleat it up and tie it off, and then put my die right along there. I'm getting that same star there. Now if my next line, instead of being quite so steep, if I do a little bit shallower of a line, then you'll see what I mean about the points being different here. So I'm going to do another cut, and then I'll open these up. Okay, so here's the first one that I dyed. So this is what our star would look like once it's dyed. And there you would have your 7 points on the star. And like I say, they're really nice and pointy here. But this other one here, I cut off a little bit shallower. So let's open that up, and we'll see. So you can see these points aren't quite as pointy as the others. So let's open that middle piece up, and you can see it on either side there. There is how to select the number of points. But there is another thing that you can do here. Let me get another piece. If you're folding a big tapestry up, a thicker fabric, and you don't want to try and fold all those layers, because sometimes the thicker fabric can be harder to get the die all the way down through there. One of the things you can do to increase your points is to pleat them. And we're going to use the trick that I just showed you about pleating around a sharper corner. So now let's say that we want to have 6 points on our star here, but we don't want to have that many layers to fold. So we're going to do something different. We're going to just take that 180 and divide it by 3. That gives me 60. So I'm going to mark off at 60 and 120. This will make sense in just a minute here. This time we're going to fold this outer line up. Since this here is 60 degrees all the way around, I'm going to fold along this line. So I'm going to line this edge up over here. And like I say, if you were folding a t-shirt, you would do the same thing, just the same way. This here is the center crease here where it's folded in half. And I know sometimes people will they'll try to fold a mandala, and instead of having a nice whole star or mandala in the middle, they have it out on the edges. And what they've done is, instead of folding on this edge, they've folded here where there's two pieces. So when you fold that up, then of course you're going to get a half a mandala on each side there, where here along this edge, when you open it, then it completes it. So I hope that makes sense. Anyways, so now what I can do, if I want to get 6 points, instead of drawing just one line like I did before, like this, I can draw a center point here and draw down like this, up like that, and then when you cut that out, or like I say, you pleat that, and that's what I'm going to show you next, is how I would pleat that. Then you have your 6 points there, but you only did 2 folds on there. So if you're working with thicker fabric, sometimes that can help you because you don't have it folded up as many times, and you're not trying to get the dye to penetrate as many layers all at once. So now if you're doing this on a t-shirt, this is how I would do it. Like I say, once again, okay, so I'm going to take this line here and fold it up right over here, and then fold this line up just like the same way we did with the paper there. And now I drew my star on there just the same way I did on the paper. And now this here is going to be one of those steeper corners that I'm going to pleat around. So I'm going to do the same thing. Is just pleat that up. And then when I get to there, you're going to do that same thing. You're going to lift this up, line that up right there, lay that back down straight again, and now you can continue your pleat. And then that way now you can tie that up, and you don't have as many layers of fabric that you're going to try to be tie-dyeing through. So that's just another way. Like I say, it works when you fold it up in the thirds or maybe even one more time. But after a while, if you do have too many layers, then trying to do this little pleat here gets even more difficult. So, but this is just a nice way to fold it up in the thirds and then get 6 points out of it. So anyways, I think that should help you guys out. I'm trying to keep these tips and tricks videos shorter so you could jump on. I'm going to try to do some more, but if you guys have any other basic questions that I can answer in this format, go ahead and ask them in the comment box down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with whoever you think needs it. And I'll be back with more. Thank you. Peace, love, light, and laughter.